Welcome to Community Insight. I am your host, Reverend Dr. Coles. And this is another time where we bring guests to this broadcast with a lot of information. So I'm asking you today, again, get your paper ready. Make sure that pen is writing because you're going to get some information again from this broadcast. Today I have a good friend, a guest on this show, and you're going to hear all the things he's doing. So you won't be able to watch that soap opera today. So we're going to listen to my friend. I'm going to call him Pastor Bob. He doesn't go by title. He's just a man of God and just want to share what he does. Today, I'm going to welcome to this broadcast. Pastor Bob, welcome to this broadcast today.
Thank you, Rodney. I so appreciate being here. I appreciate the invitation, and I've been looking forward to spending this time with you.
Well, I'm going to say, Bob, you have done a whole lot. You come from an area of, I'm going to call it Covenant Church, and Covenant Church have done so many great things in the community.
Yeah.
I've been here 17 years.
Okay.
And there's people like Walter Strivey, Donna Sheet.
Oh, yes.
We started on Chestnut Street.
Yeah.
And then my buddy Bruce that's played. We just have a good time with the Lord. And Rob Lee.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah. There were some great folks involved with
and
that.
I probably left some out, so please forgive me. I probably left some out.
There were a lot of folks involved with that.
Yes. And they was walking around the neighborhood, and then we walked down towards we call it the shelter then before it became the crossroad.
Yep.
But these are walked to the neighborhood in West Greenville, and then I know that Walter's, the vision that came from Walter, and letting Pastor Brad Sheep to he allows everybody to use their gift. Let me say that.
Yeah.
When you allow people to use their gift that God have given them, God ministry moves.
Absolutely.
God ministry moves.
Absolutely.
And that's what he allowed.
Yeah.
Use the gift that God gave you with support from him. And that's what happened with the Third Street School. That Walter, his vision that God have given him, and he brought it back because we are all underneath authorities. And he brought it back and it was blessed. And then just the work of Dr. Zazari, I hope I got his name correctly. And what been done there, where he purchased and everything went there. But that Third Street School have been a blessing on over there on the west side of Greenville, which you have opened the door for anyone want to come there. The Willie Center, you open the door for the Intergeneration. You open the door for the Joy Soup Kitchen. You open the door for that whole community that could come there. And then I'm going to also bring her in, Miss Joyce Jones, my buddy. Y'all gave her. She was doing re-entry. She's still doing re-entry in a different kind of way. She's always helping somebody.
You can't stop her.
No, she is like she's that bunny rabbit, man.
She is.
She keep on going.
Bunny.
She keep moving, Miss Jones. Joyce Jones. But and you had that space you had for man, that was a huge space you had in the programs. And I think even our governor came down there, Roy Cooper.
Yes, and walked with us. And one of my favorite stories that I remember from Chestnut Street way back in the early days, I can't remember the year that it was, but I remember, I believe it was on a Friday night, there had been a shooting in a neighborhood. And it was either a Saturday or Sunday when all of us gathered. And what I loved, it was pastors from different churches, from different denominations, different leaders from the community. And we walked throughout the neighborhood. And I remember we actually had a pastor here from the Dominican Republic, Pastor Isidro Mejia, was here with us. And I remember us walking around, and I think the team joined at the spot that the shooting had occurred, and the neighborhood joined us. The community joined us, and I remember praying over that community and just asking God for healing and his protection and his peace. That was an amazing, amazing moment.
Prayer has always been the thing that changed things in our community, and as children of God, I would say it that way because I don't want people to feel that you had to be ordained to give a prayer.
Exactly. Exactly.
But when we all come together to pray, there was a prayer chain went on yesterday and just got a medical expansion yesterday. Went to the floor and she called me this morning on it. And the first thing she said, could we get everybody to the prayer? It's that pray for these communities to stop the violence.
Yes.
And that is. It's powerful.
Yeah.
It's praying.
Yeah.
Praying, seeking God.
Yep.
What we need to do. What do you want me to do? Because, Bob, sometimes we could be doing the work for God,
Yeah.
but it's not of God.
Exactly.
And we got to make sure that it's God allowing it. By how are we going to get it? By praying and seeking Him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the last time we ran into each other in public was when we were praying right after the tragedy in Texas.
Oh, that's right.
And again, it was so good to see so many people from so many churches, from so many walks of life in Greenville. I loved that the Pitt County Sheriff was there and that we were coming together as people, not as, leaders or pastors or, I loved it was grandparents and parents and people who loved and care about people. And those prayers were so heartfelt and so powerful and so effective.
And it's amazing that when we move ego out of the way, we can seek the mission.
Yeah.
Jesus was not on the ego trip.
No.
Jesus was on the mission.
Yeah.
And that's what we all supposed to be on.
Yeah. And I just believe that brings so much happiness to his heart when he sees us coming together, just like you said, no agenda. It's not so that we can point back to this person or this organization or this church. We're coming back as the community of faith going, we follow one. And we believe that's where our hope is coming from.
And that is why God has you doing what you're doing now. Because I met you through Matthew. It was at Matthew.
It was Matthew.
And you was doing work in Beaufort County.
Yes.
And you helped us here. Covenant Church always helped.
Oh,
and
yeah.
volunteers and that always, just always had that program with volunteers that came out.
Yeah.
And I will say that's how we connected and what you was doing. But now God have swung you back to the Greenville area, what we call the Pitt County.
Yes, exactly. Large space, isn't
it? And now and I'm gonna say Walter Strivey, what he done with the Third Street School and all the different programs.
Yeah.
Now God has you there, and the programs you working with, and other programs you working with. Could you share that with us?
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I love about God, the way He puts His people at the right place at the right time. And Walter was our visionary. He was able to see what 3rd Street was going to look like 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And then we also had Nathan White, who was the executive director for several years. And then I stepped in with Nathan. And I'm so blessed and lucky to call both of them brothers, friends, and allies. But I've been there since October of 2020. And it's interesting. People ask me, what is 3rd Street Education Center? And I always love to start out with our mission first. We are there because we want to see generations transformed by the power of the gospel.
Amen.
And we do that by the way that we educate and train people so that we can point them directly back to Jesus as the source of their hope and their dignity. We have 3 branches. We call it our ABCs. A is our academy. That's our young men. It's a boys' school. We go from pre-K through 7th grade next year. B is our workforce development, business and workforce development, and that's where we just give folks a second opportunity in life. And then C is just community impact, and that's basically defined as we just want to be great neighbors in that neighborhood. We want our neighbors to know who we are are part of their community, and we want to partner with them to make our community better.
Well, I'm gonna start with the first B, is the Boys Academy. The work, one of the things I'm gonna say this, and it's very strong for us men to have a Christian walk.
Yeah.
And some children may be coming to the 3rd Street School, and they may know their father, they may not know their father, they may not have that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
But that is the key of the foundation of working with us as males, as men's. And, and that was the whole purpose of putting on the Father Men Conference for 22. And to have that kind of conversation.
Exactly.
And continue building. And I don't know if you ever saw this movie here, but we'll be showing it in September. It's called Show Me the Father.
Yes.
So if you saw that, so I could talk to you now. I
Yeah.
could really talk to you.
Yeah.
I can't talk to nobody else. Didn't even see it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's that blessing.
Yes.
And in education, that blessing is, we all miss a part. And I missed that part from that blessing from my father.
Yes.
So, but as Tony Evans said it, they're too low when people have prayed on me.
Yes.
And as we continue, but as we working with our young men, and I don't want to say this to be prejudiced.
Not at all.
I'm not downing the females, but hey, Bob, we the one is messing up the earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we gotta. Those little ones that you have there,
yes,
it's the same. They are the generation we're working for.
Yes,
because for me, tomorrow is just another day.
Yeah.
You know, for somebody, I was on their back, and they carried us.
Yes.
And now we have to carry them.
Absolutely, and prepare that next generation.
For that next generation.
Yeah.
And if we don't start them there,
yes,
I won't I won't say that, hey, you fatherless. I would say that we have a father.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's key for us to have a structure.
Yes.
In our home.
Yeah.
So I know that that's the key thing is that's preaching the gospel.
Yes.
I have a good friend, Kenneth Jones. I'm not trying to promote him anything for school board or anything. I'm not promoting him, but he's going for school board. But one of the things he said, it's got to bring prayer back in school. See, in your case, you don't have to worry about that because we are showing them.
Yep.
How this thing works. When you pull God out of your marriage, the marriage full.
Absolutely.
Out of your business is full. Out of your education is full. Out of the church is full.
Exactly.
Once you pull God out.
Yeah.
And we have to continue keeping God in there and following what the Lord has. So I want to say that. I thank you for what you're doing. I see how these young men have they memorized the scriptures, how they're not just memorizing, they speaking it and living it.
Yep. And they're watching older men in their life model it and live it for them. To me, that is what I love about Third Street. I'm the most biased person in the world you're going to talk to, but our teachers, and we have both male and female teachers, but our teachers model that for them day in and day out. And that's what I love about it. One of my favorite books that has impacted me as a man and in my faith walk also was John Eldridge's Wild at Heart. And one of the statements that John made in that book was masculinity is bestowed from one masculine heart to the other masculine heart. Wow. The female cannot pass that along. And again, I'm like you. I'm not saying anything against that. I believe that God wired us as men as a certain way. And the gentlemen that attend our schools, some of them do have fathers in their homes, but others it might be an older brother, a grandfather, an uncle, maybe a great friend of the family. But they have folks that are modeling God for them. And when they come to the school, we do the exact same thing. We just we supplement what they see and hear at home. And you're right, we lead with the gospel every day. We pray openly. We have a worship service on Wednesday mornings. We tell our boys that, our gentlemen, we tell our gentlemen that they are made in God's image. Wow. They are children of the King. And one of the terms that we use with them all the time is that they are destined for greatness. And we believe that to the core of who we were, because we want our gentlemen to understand they're going to be the leaders in our community in years to come. They're leaders now, but they're going to have more influence as they grow older. And we're excited about that.
And that's that key of you planting that seed.
Yeah.
You're planting that seed for that next generation.
Yeah.
And then you guys have the business part.
Yes.
And I know that now the trading school and you're giving folks second chances.
Correct. Yeah.
And paying them fair wages.
Yes.
So if you could speak a little bit on that.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes, and it is often attributed to Martin Luther, and I know that there are some theologians that say, I'm not sure if he said it, but it's a great quote, where he said, preach the gospel at all times and in every way, and use words when necessary. And I believe what we're doing at Third Street is we're trying to live out the gospel of Jesus Christ, because in our business and workforce development, we want to give people who might have had challenges in their life. For example, finding employment in the area. That might be a challenge for them. We want to come alongside them and by our actions show them that they have value and worth in God's eyes. And the fact that we believe that they are not defined by past decisions, past mistakes, because my goodness, we all make them, right? But we point to the gospel of Jesus and say, because of who Jesus is, your mistakes, your past indiscretions, past addictions, past mistakes, those are covered. And what we want to do is we want to hire you, bring you in, just like you said, pay you a fair wage. But as you're working with us, we want to help you reestablish your life. And we do that by simple things. For example, if one of our folks did not graduate high school, we want to work with them to help them to get their GED. If they don't have a driver's license, which can be a real challenge for people with a record, right? Yeah. We work with them and help them get their driver's license. Simple things that we might take for granted, like balancing a checkbook, opening a checking account, right? Coming up with a budget for your family and then spending wisely out of that budget. Anything that we can do to help them get on their feet again, realize that they're valued, that we want them in our staff family, and we want them to have a full and complete life. That's what we're looking to do.
And I would say that, Bob, one of the things when dealing with a man to understand about forgiveness, how you take your time with him and going through it. I've heard many good stories of forgiveness. Like you're right, we all make mistakes. There's a reason why there's an eraser on a pencil, and God knows you don't want God to put your life on the videotape. That He has God to delete the tape.
Yes.
So for them to learn, for them to learn to forgive themselves and knowing that their possibility is right in front of them. And that's what you do at Third Street School.
Absolutely.
It's an academy, it's a workshop, it's a continual building. There was a gentleman named Henry Cruz.
Okay.
And he does with fruits and things. He worked with y'all in the garden, and it's just a continue of the building, because it's not just. Y'all have made Third Street School to be an open mind for what God wants, not what y'all want.
Yeah, and that can be messy and challenging. Well, you know that.
For us,
Exactly. But when you step into that, not only in obedience, but in faith, going, God, the school is important. The business is important. The community impact important. But that's not that is not going to bring about the transformation. It's you that's going to bring about the transformation. We have so many incredible stories of transformation. In fact, Kevin Cook wanted me to tell you hello today.
Please say hello.
now, Kevin, you saw us. I did that online. But Kevin is a perfect story. Years ago, Kevin was addicted to methamphetamines, heroin. He'll tell you about his addiction to both alcohol and marijuana. And he had a couple of rough years, and as he shares with me now, he said pretty much everybody in the Pitt County Sheriff's Department knew him because either they had to go out and take care of him or a couple of times arrest him. But he found the SHARP program one of the times that he was in jail. And for those that don't know, the SHARP program is the Sheriff's Heroin Addiction Recovery Program. He had a man show up and say, you can turn your life around, and we're going to give you that opportunity to do that. Kevin took them up on that process, and in a matter of 3 or 4 years, turned his life around, found Jesus, surrendered his life to Jesus. We were blessed that he came to us at 3rd Street. He was scary looking at that time. I've got a picture of him when he first came out, and I said, I love you. I would have talked to you, but you would have scared me. But you look at him now, he has worked so hard to put his life back together. He started with us as a laborer. He worked his way up. He became a crew manager. And I am so proud to tell you today, he is actually the director of our business and workforce development. Wow. And this is a man that tirelessly looks for new people to invite into our program. Rodney, he's taking people to AA and NA meetings 3 or 4 times a week. He's pouring into those lives because he can do that from a point of authority because he's walked that path. And he can speak those things. He tells me all the time, my understanding is he's one of 2 or 3 people that can actually get into the Pitt County Detention Center. And he goes over periodically and he meets with people and tells them about the SHARP program. And he'll actually point to one of the beds and say, I slept here for a number of months, but because of the opportunity that was afforded to me, this is where I am and I love it. And he'll look at them and say, if I can do it, come on, you can do it too. Yeah, right. And you know, somebody like you and I might not be able to say that because we haven't walked that path. But Kevin will get in there and say it because that's who he is now. And, you know, we just love telling those kind of stories.
Yeah, it's amazing what you say. You know, he walked that, and he can explain it more. I couldn't explain that.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman named Deacon Rodney. Also, he's now working at Brown and Woods.
Yes.
And his life have changed. And,
yeah.
And the question he said, you know, it was a question asked. We was on a conversation on the phone Zoom.
Okay.
We had it.
Yeah.
And the question is, how did you make that change in life? And he said this one word: because people cared.
Oh.
You know. People care. So when you have that caring heart, see, a man is hard to move. I mean, we won't go to the doctor. We are stepping in our own ways. You know what I'm saying? The wife got to make sure she go to your doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, but you know, but it takes. And it's really no outlet for us, Bob.
Yeah.
You know, it's no, and what you guys do and what we kind of do with Real Men Talk and, you know, bring the outlet to us.
Yeah.
And that is so needed.
Yeah.
That is so needed.
Yeah.
And you work with your community impact and working. You also incorporate building hope.
Yeah.
And everybody.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, it's just, it's like a big family. It's not like, hey, well, you're not a part of me, or you got no. Y'all just have opened the door.
Absolutely.
Anyone, you know, just and that's what is about. I know one time you had like a dance studio. You have arts.
Yeah.
You've done something with Christmas.
We've got a camp going on this summer for the young people. Right. Yeah.
And so if somebody wanted to get involved and it's your time to talk.
Yes.
You know, I know I've been talking to you. To explain some information. Like if you want to tell them the website address, telephone number, and you were the executive director. I remember how Walter and Nate was there. I love how he did the transformation. Because he walked Nate everything with him, and just he was still with him, and Walter was moving beside him and moving out, and Nate went on.
And I'm so blessed because both of those men are available. I would pick up the phone and they'll pick it up on that first or second ring, so it's always good. But you know, you were talking about some of the other nonprofits. We are so blessed in Greenville because we have so many incredible nonprofit organizations. You know, you hit Building Hope, Atlas Kelly and his team over there. Oh my goodness. Hope of Glory Ministry, Kat Nell and her team over there. And the thing that I love about Greenville is I don't see any one organization that are going, hey, it's about us. You know, it's all about we want to work together in this community. We want to drop any lines or just like you said, I love the way you said it, the ego goes out the door. And it's all about what can we do working together for our community. And it's so good to be a part of that.
Well, Bob, time went by fast, man. I mean, it's amazing how time goes by.
You know, you talk about what God does. You can be on that all day.
If you could tell the audience your your website address, how they could get in contact with you, because and I know everything's on your website.
Absolutely, and that's the easiest way to get in touch with us. Our website is www.thirdstreetec.org. In fact, I'm going to put my cell phone number out there. We're going to make it real easy.
All right.
If you are just feeling a pull on your heart to either hear more about who we are, or if you want to be a part of and be one of our ministry partners, we'd love for you. I would love for you to give me a call. My cell phone number is 252-341-6180. And whatever you would like to do, if you would like to show up and work directly with our gentlemen, maybe being a tutor or simply reading or doing mathematics with them, showing up on our third Saturday of service where people not only work with us at 3rd Street, but work with the community. Or if you would like to be a financial donor, we always welcome that. We would just love for you to be a part of the 3rd Street family. Reach out to me on our website. Reach out to me on my cell phone number. I would look forward to having that conversation with you.
Well, Bob, we thank you again.
Thank you, Rodney.
Investment you can make and invest in our future. We thank God for the 3rd Street School, the vision God have given you as you continue moving. God bless, and we'll see you at our next broadcast.